Hello? Good morning. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Level Up Your Warm-Up. Let's give a big hand to all of the presenters that we've heard this morning. My goodness, I have been so blessed. Who has been blessed this morning? I was in here, Leland's over there walking out, but I was here I loved it, the stories. I was so enriched. Also, this morning's, gosh, why is the word slipping my mind right now? But the Word of God has just been flowing through everybody at the mic today. Yes? And I am so happy to be here with all of you. My name is Renee Maranan. I am a vocal instructor. I am old enough to be teaching this class, I promise. I know I look probably like I'm 18 years old or something, but I have been a voice teacher for over 20 years. I am what they call and no, I started teaching when I was 18, so you can do the math how long it's been, okay? So I'm what they call a functional voice teacher, which means that my main area of focus in my work is teaching singers how to use their voices efficiently and sustainably across all genres, okay? So I teach all different kinds of singers from many different backgrounds. I have students who are in New York City and touring on Broadway musicals. I have students who are professional recording artists and songwriters and producers. I teach a lot of voice teachers because I'm also a voice teacher trainer through the Institute for Vocal Advancement. And of course, I also teach a lot of worship pastors and worship singers such as yourself, some of whom are here today, front and center here in this space. So I'm very happy to be here. And today's class is called Level Up Your Warm-Up. Now, just before we get started, there's a roll of paper towel and a bag of straws making its way around the room. Please grab one for yourself because we're going to need one as we go through these exercises. And also, if you have a bottle of water with you, raise your hand. Good. Is the water bottle filled? Does it have water in it? Perfect. Okay, those of you who do not have a water bottle or who are running low, there are little water bottles here at the front that you could grab some. There's also, I think, some up outside, just outside the door. There's also a water filling station right by the restroom towards the left of this room. So I'm going to give you a second to grab some right now because we're going to need some water for our class, okay? Okay, so while y'all are grabbing your water and your straws and your paper towel, by show of hands, I am curious to know, how many of you here are regular singers? Like you sing on a regular or somewhat regular basis for church, okay? Or in choir, in the congregation. Yeah, so most of you, hence why you're here. So how many of you warm up before you sing? Okay. Also probably hence why you're here. How many of you warm up on days when you don't have to sing? Even fewer, okay. So warming up is a really important part of the life of a singer. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about why it's important, what it gives you, how it benefits you, and then I'm going to give you some exercises. We're going to try all of the exercises together, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a formula so that you can create your own little warm-up routine for yourselves, okay? I encourage you to take pictures of the slides up on the walls because this is information that you're going to need for yourselves later on. You can take notes too if you want, but taking snapshots would be easier if you want to not have to write things down, okay? And also feel free to film me if you feel like a demo would be helpful, or film yourself if you want something to laugh about after the class, because some things will be funny, okay? All right, here we go. Who's ready? Let's get started. Okay, how's everybody's voices feeling this morning? Whose voice is feeling great? Whose voice is feeling all right? Whose voice is feeling a bit rough? Who has not used their voice yet all day today? Okay, no one. Good. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about why do we warm up? It increases circulation, right? So it just helps the blood to get flowing in the tissues that actually work in your vocal tract, right? It decreases swelling. So many different things cause swelling in the vocal tract. Anything from lack of sleep to dehydration to fatigue, reflux. Who's got reflux here? Right? A little too many tacos the night before, a little too much anxiety before a class. Hello. Okay? So a lot of things can cause swelling, and a good vocal warm-up can help decrease that. Who's experienced the feeling of their voice kind of like, it feels a little puffy today, or it feels a little sticky, or it feels a little stiff, like I can't, or it's just like you sing and that there's just like this, like there's like this hiss of air that gets through. Often that's swelling. Or you sing and there's like a little bit of a happy birthday to you. Who's had that happen to them? Where it's like there's like a little bit of a gap of air before the voice finally comes out? That's a sign of swelling. And a good warm-up will decrease that swelling to some degree, okay? It helps to optimize vocal function by encouraging clean vocal fold closure. What does that mean? When we sing or speak, when we use our voices, we have these vocal folds inside of our larynx, okay? So put your hands to your throat and swallow, okay? You can feel a little bump going up and down, right? For some, it's more prominent. It's what a lot of us call our Adam's apple. That's called your larynx. Your vocal folds are inside that. And when we speak or sing, those vocal folds come together and vibrate, and that is what produces the sound, okay? Now, when there's a misalignment, sometimes things happen. There's swelling, or there's muscle tension, or in some more severe cases, there's a little bit of a protrusion, there's bumps, right, which is more of an injury. Sometimes those vocal folds get misaligned, and then they don't close cleanly, and that's when you get sounds like this, right? Na 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 na, falling down and whose voices sounded like that at one point, right? Where there's a little bit of like, I can't get it to sound clean, right? So it helps to encourage clean vocal fold closure. It also helps to release muscular tension. It resets the voice for singing or speaking so that if you're feeling vocally tired, a little warm-up can actually help to reset your voice and let it feel fresh again, which is kind of miraculous. And it also helps you to cool down at the end of the day when you've used your voice quite a bit, okay? So a warm-up is essential, and it is essential on days when you are not singing just as much as it is on days when you are singing. And here's why. Because most of our lives, we are talking. We probably talk more than we sing, right? So it makes sense that for any day that you are using your voice, you are going to warm up, including the days when you are not singing, because you're still going to be talking, and a lot of injury happens not during singing, but actually when we talk. That's actually when more injuries take place because it happens more often. And people tend to engage in habits that are not healthy when they speak, sometimes even more so than when they sing, right? Who here feels that? Like their singing voice feels okay, but their speaking voice feels a little bit rough. That happens to me. Sometimes it happens to some people, especially if you work in a job where you have to talk a lot. Do I have any teachers in the room here? Yeah? Do I have anyone who works in an industry where they have to talk to people all the time, maybe in hospitality, maybe in medicine and healthcare? Do I have any parents in the room? Anyone who has a toddler or a teenager, both involving different amounts of yelling possibly, right? I have a 3-year-old, and boy, I have never been more vocally tired than in the last 3 years. So, not to mention the lack of sleep. So if you speak, if you use your voice to any capacity, and if your voice is something that you cherish and that you need to be working for Sunday, then you should be warming up every day. It'll help mitigate injury, and it'll help your voice to actually work better when you need it to. So let's move on. let's actually try some of these things, okay? We're gonna get practical here. The first thing we're gonna talk about here is muscle tension release. Now, when we do a warm-up, the first thing that you can do to help yourself is to warm up by not using your voice quite yet, but to first stretch the muscles that surround your vocal tract. That means the muscles here in your upper shoulders, the muscles even here on the side body that are kind of around your ribs where your lungs are, where you breathe, the muscles here in the front of the throat, the jaw, the tongue, and we're gonna do all of that together, okay? So we're gonna go through some of these exercises. If you've gone ahead and taken a picture, you can put your phones down because you're going to need your hands. And the first thing that we're gonna do is an SCM stretch, okay? So these are things that you would do before you even sing, before you even speak. Who here has muscle tension? Everyone, yeah, don't lie. If you didn't raise your hand, that's okay, but I know you do. So SCM stretch. SCM stands for sternocleidomastoid. So this is a muscle on your neck. So if you put your hand right here at your collarbone and you turn your head to the side, you might feel something pop out, a muscle pop out. Nod your head if you can feel that muscle pop out. For some people, it's not as easy to feel. If it's hard for you to feel, it might be easier for you to kind of slide your head backwards in space like this. And then, while you've got that nice little double chin going, then you can turn your head over to the side. And then you might feel it, okay? So once you feel that muscle pop out, that's the muscle that we're going to stretch, okay? So let's do something all together. We're going to take our head, slide it backwards. Everybody should have a nice little double chin going right now. If I don't see a double chin, you're not doing it right, okay? All right, so keep your head there. Then you're going to hook your fingers on your collarbone. Let it weigh your shoulder down. Keep the fingers there. And then now we're going to tilt your head over to the side away from the hand. Still double chin, okay? And then you're going to tilt this chin upwards towards the ceiling. You should feel a nice stretch down the side of your neck. Everybody feel that? Okay, while you're nodding, or shaking your head if you don't feel it, you can nod your head yes gently, and that should deepen the stretch. And you can shake your head no, and that should deepen the stretch. Okay? All right. If this is painful, feel free to stop. All right. We're going to do this for a few more seconds, and we're going to release. Now we're going to do it to the opposite side, okay? So fingers on the collarbone. Slide your head back. Make a nice little double chin. Tilt the head away from the hand. And tilt the chin upwards towards the ceiling. Careful not to move the head forward, because keeping it backwards is what helps to deepen the stretch, okay? All right. While you're there, we're going to nod the head yes, and we're going to shake the head no. Why is this important? This SCM muscle attaches to the collarbone down here, and then it attaches up here towards your ears and your jaw. Guess what happens when it's tight? Your jaw tightens. Guess what happens when your jaw tightens? Your voice gets fussy, okay? Becomes difficult to articulate. So the SCM stretch is really handy. How's that feel? Yeah? Can everybody say hello, good morning? How's your voice feel? Good. We're going to keep doing that as we go and do these exercises so you can notice how it affects your voice as we go along, okay? We're going to kind of go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right down the slide, okay? So now we're going to do the SCM massage, and this is easy. You're going to take that same muscle that poked out of your collarbone when you turned over to the side. You can go ahead and do that again if you want. Now, you're going to gently grab it with your thumb and the inside of your forefinger. Please do not yank it out of your neck, okay? You're just gonna gently, like you're shaping some gnocchi. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever made homemade pasta. I don't know why that example came to my mind, but you're gently just massaging it, okay? And you're just gonna move it around. Who feels like that muscle is stuck to the side of their neck? Yeah. Sometimes that happens when there's a lot of tension and it just loses its mobility. But when it's not super tense, there should be some amount of flexibility. You should be able to move it around a little bit. Be very careful. Okay, young man, I see you just going ham on your neck there. Please don't. You've got some major blood vessels in that area, and your voice is located there. Please don't. Be very gentle, okay? He's like, nah, like this. Okay, so gently move it around, and let's do the other side. Sometimes it helps to turn your head to the side and then wiggle it around, okay? And if you feel an area where it's especially sore or stiff, you can live there. For me, that's up here underneath my ears and right behind my jaw. So if I just gently wiggle that, ooh, that's where a lot of tension lives from me. Okay? Great. Okay. Now let's do a neck stretch. So we're going to stretch the front of the neck. We're going to cross the arms on the chest. Okay? Be mindful of where you're sitting too. So if you are kind of leaned back and casual, I love it. For a second, let's come out of that. Both feet on the floor, back off of the seat. Keep your back straight, keep your pelvis in neutral. We don't want anything overarched or slouched like this. So keep this nice and plumb. Is that the right word? Plumb? Straight. Okay, cross the arms over the chest. Let this weigh down your chest, okay, and keep it stable. Then you're going to tilt your head back. And that should feel like a nice stretch down the front of the throat and also the area right underneath your jaw. If you want a deeper stretch, you can pretend like you're a bulldog and you have an underbite and stretch your jaw towards the ceiling. Everybody get that? Don't forget to breathe while you're doing this. I don't want anyone passing out. This is helpful for stretching the muscles under the jaw, which are connected to your tongue, and down the throat, okay? You can also kind of sway your head side to side while you're up there. And when it feels good, if you feel like the back of your neck has been compressed, you can just kind of roll it around down towards the front, and then bring your head back to neutral. Okay, let's say something. Say, hello, good morning. I'm taking a crazy class with a crazy voice teacher. I'm taking a crazy class with a crazy... How's the voice feeling? Who felt anything shift or change in their voice when they were doing that stretch? Some people, yeah? It can get really, really compressed, especially for those of us who tend to kind of carry a lot of tension because we're kind of holding our heads forward like this and we're, text neck, right? Okay, so that's the neck. Now we're going to do a bit of a jaw massage. So we're going to take our knuckles, we're going to make knuckles like this, okay? And you're going to make circles, again, gently, maybe like the weight of a nickel. So gentler than you think you have to. Definitely don't be punching yourself in the face. And we're just going to form small circles around the jaw, okay? And if there's an area that you feel is like a little bit more tender, that wants a little bit more love, you can live there, okay? Explore underneath the cheekbones, right there towards the ears. And then we're going to form a little bit of a candy cane shape, okay? We're going to go upwards towards the temples, because did you know that muscle up on the temples, and it actually goes around the ear, that's all connected to your jaw. Sometimes people feel like they have a headache, but what they actually have is jaw tension, which is really interesting, okay? And then once you feel like you're satisfied with that, we're going to go into the hairline. Sorry if I'm ruining your hair, okay? But we're going to go into the hairline above the ears, and we're going to massage. Here you can be a little bit more, you can massage a little bit more deep if you like, okay? And you're going to cover that area all down the side of your head and around your ear, okay? And then what I want you to do, if it's possible for you, is grab your hair if you have it, and pull up like someone's giving you a little facelift. If you don't have hair to grab, just kind of push upwards on your head. Does that feel good? Everyone's like, mm-hmm. Feels great. Okay, so that's the jaw massage. Now we're gonna do a bit of a jaw stretch together, okay? So you're gonna take 2 fingers, you're gonna press it gently into your cheek and backwards until you kind of feel a little bit of pushback from the muscles attached to your jaw. Feel that? Again, we don't need to press too hard. Weight of a nickel, okay? You're gonna keep the fingers there, and gently, slowly, we're gonna drop the jaw. Careful not to drop it forward like this. Not forward, just down your natural range of motion, okay? So we're gonna drop down, keeping a little bit of pressure. Let the tongue follow the jaw down. And bring it back up. A little bit more. And up. One more time, see if you can get a little bit more range of motion this time. And up. Now, if you feel a little bit of pain, or like if you hear clicking as you're moving your jaw, or if you feel like, I just can't get my jaw to drop very low at all, and that's something that you notice you struggle with on a regular basis, it might be worth getting checked out by your dentist or even your doctor. You might have TMJ. You might have TMJ disorder, which a lot of people have, okay? So that's a nice jaw stretch. Okay, a laryngeal massage. This is something that I'm going to show you a very, very, very basic one, because typically we don't want people messing around in there too much on their own without any guidance, right? But we're just going to take 2 hands. You're going to place it on either side of that Adam's apple. And again, very, very gently, pretend like it's just freshly risen dough and you really don't want it to deflate, okay? And you're just going to gently push it side to side, just a little bit, just a little bit. Is it moving? Is it locked for anybody? So sometimes when there's a lot of tension, it gets locked in place and it's really hard to move it around, okay? Now, while you're doing this, it's a good idea not to be like this. Because when you're in misalignment and your head is already kind of jutting forward, then these muscles are kind of working extra hard to keep your skull upright, because that's their job, is to keep the skull upright. So if we're standing or sitting like this, then we need to kind of correct and just bring ourselves more into alignment before we start doing these massages, okay? So that's the laryngeal massage. And now we're going to get into a tongue stretch. So who took a paper towel? Everybody should have a paper towel. It didn't make it over there? Where is the roll still somewhere floating around? Oh, there's Kleenex? Yeah, you can use Kleenex too. You may want to grab more than one piece though, because it's probably going to melt in your mouth. Yeah, I'm gonna make you do some tongue stretches. I apologize in advance. Okay. So we're going to use the paper towel to grab our tongue gently and stretch it forward. So this is what we call a manual tongue stretch. Okay? If you feel uncomfortable with this, or some people have they're really sensitive to touching anything in their mouth, please do not feel like you have to. But if you can, it is honestly one of the best things that you can do for yourself for muscle tension release and also as a singer, okay? So I'm going to show you I'm going to tell you how to do it, and then I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you can jump in and do it with me, okay? So we're going to use the paper towel. We're going to wrap it underneath and around the sides of the tongue. We're going to use these fingers to grab the tongue as far back as you can without engaging your gag reflex, but literally as far back as you can. And you're going to gently pull the tongue out and down until you feel the stretch, and you want to feel the stretch on the top side of your tongue, not on the underside of your tongue. You want to feel the stretch on the top side of the tongue, okay? So we're going to do this once forward, and then we're going to do it on either side, okay? So I'll show you, and then you can do it with me, okay? So here we go. And then pull. Everybody see? Do I need to walk up and down the aisles? I don't know. Was that pretty clear? Some people are like, that was clear. I don't know if I want to do it, though. I promise you it's worth it. Okay, let's try. All right? And like I said, you don't have to if you don't feel comfortable, but let's wrap it around, grab as far back as you can, and then gently pull the tongue out and down. If you're feeling the stretch underneath the tongue, then you may need to, do you need a tissue? Is the Kleenex box somewhere? Where was that? Oh, there's a Kleenex box over there. Yeah, right there. You might want to grab 2. You're going to want more than 2, apparently. Sorry. Yes. So 30 seconds, about 30 seconds, sorry. Please hold it for as long as class is going. Thank you. Just kidding. Okay. Uh-huh. Let's relax. Okay. So, hey, listen, I'm right there with you. I'm eating the paper towel too, and I'm using a paper towel. See, when I bought the supplies for this class, I was like, should I get like the really luxury high-end paper towel? I'm like, I think I'll be okay. Bad choice. So in a pinch, you could do face cloths. You could do the sleeves of your sweater, okay, if you really want to. But what did that feel like? What did that feel like for you guys? Who did? Everybody did it? Did anybody, yeah? Who felt like they got a little bit of relief from it? It feels really loose. Your tongue almost feels like weird. Yes? When there's like pain. Definitely, you don't want to, you want to be feeling a stretch, but it should be a good stretch, not a painful stretch. Although if you have a lot of tongue tension, you might feel some pain, but that might mean that you might actually need to, see a massage therapist or get an intraoral massage for that, right? But you should get some range of motion. A lot of it depends on, some people have longer tongues, some people have shorter tongues. Everyone's physiology is a little bit different. But my general rule of thumb is if you're feeling pain, you might need to pull back a little bit. But the tongue feels weird afterwards, right? It feels new. So let's say, hello, good morning. How's that feel? Great. He's like, great. But the voice sounds different, right? My voice sounds different. My speaking feels different. I know my articulation always changes after I do that tongue stretch. Now, since I saw all of your faces while we were doing this, and I know the paper towel and Kleenex kind of melted into your mouth while we were doing this, so I feel bad making you do it 2 more times. But the idea is then you would do that stretch towards the side of the mouth one way, and then you're going to do it to the other side of the mouth the other way, okay? Should we do it again, or do you want to move on? Because I feel like, I don't know. No? Let's move on. Let's move on, okay? So that's the tongue stretch. Now, everybody got a straw. I'm going to show you another tongue stretch that I promise is less weird. You didn't get straws? I know that, listen, there was 150 straws in that bag, so it's impossible that there's more than 150 of you in here. Oh, there it is. Oh, the paper towels are right back there, too. Okay. I think the front area. Okay. This is my gift to you. You all get to take the straw home. Please do not return it to me. Okay. Okay, so it's making its way down towards the front there. So we're going to do a tongue stretch. What we're going to do is we're going to use these straws. We're going to tuck it underneath the tongue, and then we're going to tuck the tip of the tongue behind, if this is the teeth, we're going to tuck the tip of the tongue behind the teeth like this. And the tongue is going to hold the straw, okay? You can also use cocktail straws, swizzle sticks, chopsticks, barbecue skewers, but you generally prefer something that is skinny and light unless you have really, really good tongue strength, okay? So let's do it all together. I'll show you, then you can jump in after me, okay? It might be hard to some people. It's worth it. Yeah? Okay, leave it in there for a few seconds. I promise I won't make you keep it in there for too long. This takes the tongue out of the back of your throat and teaches it to come forward. It also strengthens the muscles that keep the tongue in a more relaxed and sort of like sustainable position. Okay? Okay, take the thing out for a second. Give your tongue a little bit of a break. We're going to do two more things with this, okay? We're going to do the same position again, and then we're going to do what's called speech approximation. So we're going to put it in the same position, and then I want you all to tell me what you are going to be doing this weekend. We're just going to take like 30 seconds. I'm going to listen to all of your stories. I'm going to hear all of them all at once because I'm amazing like that. And then, and then we're going to take it out, and then we're going to see how it feels, okay? So let's all bring the straws back. Okay, tell me, what are you going to do this weekend? That sounds amazing. Keep going. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. Can I join you? That sounds amazing. That's awesome. Yeah. That's good. Okay. Woo! Give yourselves a round of applause. You're such good sports. Okay, now take a second and tell me again the exact same thing that you were telling me. Not that I didn't understand. I understood all of you completely. But tell me again what you told me while the straw was in your mouth, this time without the straw in your mouth. What are you going to do this weekend? Okay. How's that feel? Did you notice anything change about the way that you were talking after you did the straw? Some people did. Some people felt a little bit more loose. Yeah? So what I would do with this usually is I would use the straw, read a page out of a book, and that was one way for me to condition myself to speak without my tongue tensing and retracting into my throat, which is a huge problem for singers, right? Happens all the time. Now we're going to do one more thing. I promise this is not going to be as weird. You're going to do the same position with the straw, and we're going to do sirens. We're going to do pitch glides, sliding up and then down. You're going to start just in a comfortable range, and then down, and then challenge yourself to go up a little higher, and then come back down. I'm going to be singing in a soprano range. You feel free to sing in whatever range feels natural to you, so you don't have to match my pitch, okay? Let's all get started. Ready? Okay. Take it out. How'd that go? Not well. Right. Who had that problem? Who had a problem with keeping the straw in their mouth? What happened probably? The tongue kept wanting to come back, yes? Or the tongue was getting a little too active and was trying to snap the straw in half inside your mouth. Yes. So that's a sign. The more challenging it was for you, I'm sorry to say, the more you probably need it. Okay? So if it was difficult for you to do the sirens, I would just start by holding it in place. Start small. You notice the progression that we took there? We started by keeping the straw in the mouth, hold it there for 30 seconds, let it go. Once you feel like you're a little bit better at that, hold it in the mouth, do some speech approximation, 30 seconds, let it go. Once you feel like you're more comfortable with that, then you can try the sirens. And if going up was the challenge, because sometimes people have the habit of tensing and retracting the tongue as they go higher in pitch. And like the tongue is all the way back there in order to hit the high note, right? Who's felt that? I've had that problem. You might not even realize it, but if that was happening to you in the glide, where your tongue kept wanting to let go of the straw as you were going up, you probably have that happening for you too, and you might not realize it, okay? So this is a really good conditioning exercise to keep that tongue in place and not have it be involved in the singing. It needs to be involved in the singing, but it doesn't need to be involved in as much as we often get it involved, right? So that's the tongue stretch. The next is intraoral. We're not going to do that today because that requires a massage therapist, but I wanted to include that in there just so that you are aware that there is a thing called intraoral massage therapy, okay? So for those of you who felt a lot of tension today, or who felt like, you know what, I feel like muscle tension might really be playing a part in my singing, there is something that you can do about it. You can go and get a referral from your doctor, get evaluated by your physician, see a massage therapist who is certified for intraoral massage, and they can do wonders for releasing some of the tension in your throat, your shoulders, your jaw, your tongue, and even inside, like the muscles inside your mouth, okay? So even the soft palate. So that's muscle tension release. Hard part is over. Yay! So imagine how much we've done, and we haven't even sung, right? But this is a part of a warm-up that a lot of people don't think about, and yet it is so, so beneficial. So let's move on. Let's talk about some warm-up exercise. We're going to do all of these together. We're going to do them without patterns yet. I just want you to get to know what exercises are available to you, and then we're going to talk about musical patterns afterwards, okay? Now, as you were walking in, everybody should have either picked up a bottle of water, or if you have water now, you should have filled it up, right? We did that in the beginning of class. So we're going to do that now. We're going to do what's called SOVTEs. SOVTE stands for semi-occluded vocal tract exercise, okay? Let's all say it together, SOVTE. SOVTE, okay? A semi-occluded vocal tract exercise is when we partially occlude or partially close the vocal tract, meaning we partially close the mouth in some place, whether it be back there towards the palate, or like at the teeth, or at the lips, okay? So all of these exercises we're going to do here today are some kind of semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. Why this is helpful is because it is really effective at encouraging vocal fold closure and balanced phonation, meaning a balance between how much vocal fold mass is engaged, and how much muscle is engaged, and how much air pressure you are pushing from your lungs, so that there's neither too much of one or too little of the other. Does that make sense? But because we are partially closing the mouth or the vocal tract at some point, it makes it easier for the voice to get going. It's kind of like when you're at the gym and you're trying to do a lift on the barbell. I'm acting like I've done this before. And you're trying to do a lift on the barbell, and then somebody just goes, woo, and just gives you a hand, right? And you're like, wow, everything is so much lighter. So it's the same idea. We're going to get the scariest one out of the way, and then we're going to do some less scary ones, okay? So the first one is gargling. I promise this is the weirdest one, and then the rest of them are going to be easier. We're going to take a swig of water, and then we're going to gargle like you would when you brush your teeth. But we're also going to create pitch. I heard a, oh no. So this might be difficult If it's hard for you to do it without choking, you can do it for 1 second, 2 seconds, take a break, okay? It is difficult for some people, especially if you already have a lot of tension. It can be difficult, but like I said earlier, if it's difficult for you, it's probably because you really need to do it, okay? So I'll show you how to do it and then you can join me. I swear I'm a professional. Okay, 1 second. Right? Oh, wow. I did it for like 2 seconds and my voice immediately felt different. So let's do that for, I don't know, a few seconds, okay? As long as you can. If you feel like you're choking, don't feel like you have to keep going. Just do it in small bursts. Ready? Okay, you have to keep up with it for a little bit, okay? Wow, I'm impressed. Some of you are going on. Nice job. If you've had to do it in short spurts, that's totally okay. But do it in short spurts a few times. Give yourself a chance to benefit from the exercise. If you do it for like 2 seconds and give up, you're not going to get anything out of it. Same with anything else that we've done here today. If you do any of these exercises for 2 seconds, you're not going to get anything out of it. You have to give yourself at least 30 seconds at each exercise that you choose, okay, to get anything out of it, okay? Do you feel like you got enough time with that, or do any of you feel the need to do some more? Okay, let's try the voice out. You're like, please no. Okay, let's try it out. Say, hello, good morning. My name is... You don't know your names? Tell me your names. My name is? How does it feel? Good. Did anybody feel a change in their voice quality afterwards? Yeah? How would you describe the change in your voice quality after doing the gargling? Clearer, smoother, fresh, more open? Yeah. So that variable air pressure from the water acts like a little bit of a massage on your laryngeal muscles, okay? And also the water really does help to kind of refresh the mucous membranes in that part of your body. So if you're feeling a little bit dry, or if you're feeling congested, you've got a little bit of a cold or a cough, a little bit of a sore throat. Actually, this is something that you can do with warm water, warm enough that you can chug it, so not hot water, and salt. But I wouldn't swallow it if you were doing salt water. But if you have like a bit of a sore throat and you need something to kind of help with the inflammation, that can be really, really helpful. And you don't have to just do it with water. You can do it with whatever beverage you happen to have. So in a pinch, you're like, man, I really need to reset my voice, but service is happening in like 2 minutes. I just need something real quick. And all you got is that cold cup of, like coffee that you had from 8 a.m. in the morning that you never got to drink. That's all you got? Give it a try, right? As long as it's in a temperature that you can chug safely and not get scalded, it's good. I love doing it with ice water because it's just really, really soothing. Everybody has a different preference. So that's gargling with the voice. You can do that on sirens, or you can do that with scales. You can even do it with song melodies. We'll show you how to do that later. Okay, let's work on lip trills. So here, the occlusion is happening at the lips, right? Sometimes it helps to put the fingers in the cheeks like this. Okay. Now, if you feel like you do this lip trill and your voice comes out like this, like super breathy, and you feel like you're losing air, it might mean that you need a little bit more resistance. So, can you do this? Ha, ha. Ba, ba. Now, start the lip trill with a B. There we go. I'm hearing fewer breathy voices in the room, right? That's the lip trill. It's another great exercise for massaging the voice. Tongue trills. Rolling the R is not for everybody. Not everybody can do a rolled R, but those who can you join me? Right? I have a hard time with this one too. Yeah. Now we'll do the next variation of this, raspberries. Who knows what a raspberry is? Not the fruit. Who knows raspberries? Yeah. So you're sticking the tongue out of your mouth over your bottom lip, and you're doing a trill. Don't try to tuck your bottom lip underneath like this. That's not going to work. You gotta, if you're having a hard time with it, make a little pout, like a duck face, and then stick the tongue out. And then, there we go. Okay. If you can't do it, it's not a big deal. You can keep practicing. It's not make or break. And like I said, this is a selection of exercises. You can choose your own, okay? Next up, lip buzz, also called the puffy cheek or blowfish exercise. So you're gonna pout your lips, you're gonna anticipate they're gonna hold back the air, and then you're gonna push air out, allowing the air to fill up your cheeks. Good. Good. While you're doing that, make sure that the tongue inside your mouth is just resting behind the bottom teeth. If it's like retracting into your throat, just gently remind yourself to keep the tongue resting. There should be air coming through the lips, okay? It's not just a okay? That's a different one. So this exercise is really good for creating a stretch in these muscles in the cheeks called your masseters, your jaw muscles, and again, the laryngeal muscles, okay? Next up, straw phonation. Remember those straws? I hope you still have them. And your water, or you might have built-in straws in your water bottle. That's great. You can use those. We're going to take the straw, put it into the water, and then you're going to form an ooh vowel with your lips. Everybody say ooh. Again, keep the tongue resting behind the teeth. If you notice that it's creeping up into your throat, let it relax. And then you're going to take the straw into your mouth and just ooh into the straw. And you're going to gauge how deep into the water you want to go to give yourself the feeling of resistance that you want. This should feel nice and soothing. If you feel like you're having to push really hard, you might need a little less depth. If you feel like it's too easy, you might need to go a bit deeper under the surface. So let's do it together. Ready? Okay. Somebody's making memories back there. Good luck to you. Now that's going to end up on the internet. I'm sorry. It happens to me all the time. Okay. How's that feel? How'd that feel? Good. That creates like a little, again, a massaging effect on the muscles around your larynx, right? Okay. Next, and you can also do that without water, by the way. You want to try without water? Let's try with just the straws. If you don't have a straw without water, you can grab one right here. Ready? Remember to keep the tongue behind the teeth. Feels nice, right? Now, when you do it without water, the diameter of the straw makes a big, actually, even when you do it with water, the diameter of the straw makes a big difference in how this feels, okay? If you have a particularly tired voice, you may not want a very skinny straw. So a regular sized drinking straw might be good for you, okay? Sometimes when you're tired, a boba-sized straw, bubble tea, a bubble tea straw might be even better because it's a little bit wider. You put that into the water, it gives a little bit less resistance, which might be easier when your voice is already tired. If you tend to have hyperfunction in your voice, a lot of compression, you tend to talk like this and kind of sing like this a lot, a skinny straw might actually be better for you because it'll give you a little bit more back pressure and it'll help to stretch those muscles a little bit more, decompress them a little bit. So, and you can get that, those little stir sticks or cocktail straws, right? You can get those at most restaurants, right? Coffee shops maybe sometimes will still have them, but grocery stores often sell them in boxes, so you can buy them through there. There's also devices that you can actually get. So I'm carrying this thing. This is called a vocal trainer. This is made by a company called Better Voice, and it acts very similar to a straw, but the only difference is this has a little slider that varies the pressure, okay? So if I push it up, like very little resistance. If I push it down, lots of resistance. So this can be really handy if you want something that you can carry with you and reuse. You do have to wash it after use, and it's recommended that you replace it every 6 months. But if you are looking to invest in something, this is something that you can purchase. There's lots of these things in the market. There's like stainless steel drinking straws or singing straws, and there's like really, really fancy ones. I got one from this company called Ravox. They're like, can we send it to you? They engrave my name in it. That's like designed by NASA engineers. I'm like, this is insane. I don't even know how to use this, There's silicone straws, but honestly, you don't have to spend the money if you don't feel like investing. If you feel like it'll help you to practice, then great, go for it, right? But anyone can just pick up a bag of these and use them, right? I'm not for encouraging people to spend money when they don't need it. If you do want one of these, have a discount code. It's Renee 10, okay? RENEE 10. Save you a little bit of money if you're going to go get one, okay? Okay, let's move on. So these consonants, V, TH, and Z, these are called voiced fricatives. So they're fricatives because they allow air to go through, but they're voiced because you voice while you're pronouncing them. So let's say V. Right. Let's do the TH. It should feel nice and buzzy in the front of your face. Now let's do the Z. That should feel kind of buzzy. I'm almost kind of itchy at the tongue, actually, right? Did one feel better for you than another? Who liked the V better? Who liked the TH better? Who liked the Z better? See, everybody is a little bit different. So notice which ones you like and create your own little warm-up routine from that, okay? Let's do the nasal consonants, M and NG. We've got a bilabial lip and a palatal, meaning you make contact at the palate. So let's say, again, it should feel nice and buzzy. Be careful that it's not, Can everybody make that noise real quick? Almost like a duck call. You feel how that's kind of like, for me, it almost feels like it's in here, like in my throat, right? You want to kind of have it feel like it's up here. So, and one way you can think of is making it sound a little bit like a yawn instead of a duck. Yes. So that exercise is really good for encouraging forward resonance. So that the resonance is not felt here in your throat, where it can feel kind of exhausting when you talk like this all the time and you sing like that all the time. It gets exhausting so much faster. But this kind of puts the resonance someplace different where it's much more efficient, and also the voice just sounds more warm and rich, right? Okay. Let's move on. I'm going to talk about scale patterns. Move over to the keyboard here. Okay. So now we're kind of going to combine some of these exercises together with scale patterns, okay? The first is single pitch intonation, which we've already done some. This is just single pitches. Right? We've also done pitch glides. With the pitch glide, it's really important to take it slow and not, okay? The whole idea behind a pitch glide and why it's so helpful is because you almost think about it like you're navigating through your range in micro steps instead of big steps. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's just one big jump up and down. You're going, ooh. Okay, let's experience that all together. On an ooh, let's go ooh, ooh, ooh. Ready? And do you feel how your voice is behaving when you do it like that? It's almost like there's a flip happening from the bottom to the top. Now let's do a glissando or a slide or a siren all together. Ooh, slowly. Ooh, don't get ahead of me. Ooh. How did that feel? Less of a break, right? So it encourages better registration, meaning it encourages better coordination in your vocal mechanism going from the bottom of your range to the top, instead of it just kind of like, you know, flinging yourself from one end of your range to the other. Let's do thirds. Let's do some thirds on the blowfish. So everybody knows what a third is, right? Typically we would do a major third, right, when we're doing warm-ups. So let's do, oh, is my keyboard on? Do I need to know something to turn this thing on? Hello? Gave up on me. Okay, so that's a third. Let's all do it together. Half step. Still do a slide. And one more. And again. So that's what you call a chromatic third, meaning you're repeating the same interval, a major third, and you're moving chromatically up the keyboard, half step at a time. Now let's do a diatonic sequential. Woo, big terms. Meaning we're using the same notes within the same scale, the same, key signature, okay? We're repeating the same interval, but we are using diatonic chords, diatonic notes, okay? So we might sing a major third, we might sing a minor third, okay? Yeah, it's given up. Oh, weird. So, everybody know the major scale? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The easiest way to remember this is you're going up the major scale sequentially, okay? So, do, mi, do, repeat after me. Do, mi, do, re, fa, mi, sol, mi, fa, sol, sol, ti, sol, la, do, la, ti, re, ti, do. If you don't know the solfege syllable, I'm only doing this because we don't have a piano. If you don't know the solfege syllable, you can just do one of the exercises that we worked on earlier. You could do it on a hum. Do, re, And then you can do that downwards too. So that's a diatonic sequential. Same is true with fifths. So, okay, so let's do a fifth on let's do a V. So this time we're going from do, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, sol, do, good. Chromatic fifths. Let's do, the diatonic sequentials are a little hard to do on the fifths without a piano, so I'm going to spare you that trouble, but that's something you can play with when you have a pianist who can accompany you, okay? Actually, the rest of these other patterns, well, the octave arpeggio, we can do that together. So the octave arpeggio is just a broken chord. Do, mi, sol, do, ma, 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 ma. Let's do that on a lip trill. We can go up and then down. That's the octave arpeggio, okay? There's an octave and a half arpeggio and a double octave. Those are challenging patterns, and without a piano, it can be really, really hard. But there's it's like, yeah, okay, good. I thought you guys were like, yes. Sorry, apparently. So an octave and a half arpeggio is 13 notes. We're gonna just do this all together. We're gonna have some fun. You're not expected to know this off by heart. You may want to record this though, so you can practice it on your own. The good thing about these longer patterns is that they get you through more of your range in less time. Okay, so let's do this with a lip trill, because a lip trill seems to be easy for everybody. Or you can choose, you can do a lip buzz, or you can do an M, or you can do an NG or a TH, whatever you like. So I'll show you how to sing it, and then I'll have you join in with me. If you know it, sing it along. Ready? Okay, let's all do it together. And if you feel your voice getting a bit squeezy towards the top, think about singing it a little bit hooty. Together, ready? And pay attention to where your tongue is sitting. Keep it relaxed. One more. Nice job. Very, very good. And the last pattern is the hardest one. It's a double octave, okay? So, again, it's great because it gets you through more of your range in less time, but it is challenging. So pick the exercise that you like, and let's do this together. Think about doing a slide from the bottom to the top. Ready? One more. Nice job. Okay. Now I'm going to share the formula. How are you going to put all of this together? Here's your protocol, okay? Feel free to screenshot this or take a picture. First, you're going to start with muscle tension release. Pick the exercises that you liked. You don't have to do them all, okay? Start with the big muscles, meaning the muscles in your shoulders, your back, your ribs, and then work your way towards the smaller muscles, your jaw and your tongue, okay? Furthest from your voice to the closest to your voice. And then you're going to work into some warm-up exercises and scale patterns. You're going to combine them. So you're going to maybe do, like what we were doing earlier, maybe you would do a lip trill on some pitch intonation. Maybe you would do some V's on sirens. Maybe you would do some M's on the octave arpeggios, and so on and so forth, okay? Pick the exercises you like and the patterns that you like. Start in your chest voice. Start low. When you're warming up, you are revving the engine. So don't try to, at first thing in the morning, try and go from the bottom of your range all the way up to whistle voice right away. Start small, small intervals, and then work your way up from there, okay? And then work through as much of the range as possible, and if possible, warm up beyond the range of the songs that you're going to sing, okay? Beyond, because you want the range of your songs to be within your comfortable zone, not at the edge of it, all right? Do this if you can, first thing in the morning, do it before you have to sing, and then do some of the exercises afterwards, and you'll be doing so much good for your voice if you do this on a regular basis. 5 minutes is enough if you do it once a day, okay? Small habits make huge differences, but consistency is key. Okay, everyone? Any questions before we wrap up? Hey, listen, thank you all for being such good sports. I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you again at some point this weekend. Enjoy the rest of conference, everyone.